Some people say he was just nominated for the Ballon d'Or for scoring 2 free kicks against Real Madrid. But in today's video, I'm going to be debunking that, if that's true or not. Today, I'm going to be discussing Rafinha's chances of winning the Ballon d'Or and also determining whether is he a deserved Ballon d'Or nominee or not. And first of all, let's start with the most obvious of the facts, the stats. 11 goals and 11 assists in 57 matches is very good for a defensive midfielder. Although Mikel Merino played as a striker for Arsenal, I don't know what Arteta was thinking, but he was onto something because that turned out to be great. But Declan Rice is a defensive midfielder, as we all know. He will be there getting the ball from the defenders and will also act as a midfielder who will be involved in many tackles, in many ground duels, and will be able to win most of them. So, bearing that in mind, let's start with the stats again. 11 goals and 11 assists in 57 matches are good for the kind of a profile he possesses, and 0.35 goals per 90 and 708 minutes per goal are still good because he is a defensive midfielder. So yeah, he is not amongst the goal very often. He took a total of 34 shots, out of which 14 were on target, and he scored a goal every 8.5 shots he took. Well, to be honest, most of his shooting positions are from outside the box, which have a very low chance of going in. So even this stat, 8.5 shots per goal, it's very good and very bearable. And he had a season-long XA, expected assists, of 8.89. It's good, but we all know he's not that kind of a playmaker who will be creating so many chances. And that is reflected by his 58 chances created. You might say these are still a lot, but comparing to the 10s and the 8s around the world, these are nothing. So yeah, Declan Rice, you are obviously not a 10 or an 8. You are a, what's the number for a defensive midfielder? I think it's 6. Yeah, I think it's 6. All right. Then coming to his passes, the defensive midfielders, the kind of the ones that will get the ball, will carry it, and then deposit it to another midfielder or a winger, or even just get a through ball to the striker. Declan Rice is exactly that kind of player. So this means that he will not be getting that many passes like Vitinha gets or Pedri gets, because they get the ball, pass it forward, get the ball back, then pass it, then pass it, then pass it, and this is their game. Declan Rice, he carries the ball forward, brings in one decisive pass, and then opens up the defense. And that's the reason why he's considered one of the best midfielders in the world, and Arsenal recognized this because he was sold by West Ham for 100 million. So I think he is good for his price tag and is obviously living up to it. And then let's come to his dribbles. 12 out of 27 dribbles is meh, but he's not that kind of dribbler. He will be just very direct, I'd say. And coming to the ground duels, one of his go-to priorities and strengths, 107 out of 216 ground duels won is very good. And then 36 aerial duels won. Now you might say 107 ground duels won, this is only for attackers. Attackers are better than this. They are like the last video in which I did Rafinha. He won almost 140 ground duels. So attackers are more tempted to win the ground duels because they'll know that they will create a chance for themselves. But most of the ground duels in which Declan Rice is involved in contain midfield duels, which are difficult to win, because most of the time there is a lot of space in the midfield so that the other team could exploit it. And even to get 107 ground duels won in the midfield, it's still good. 36 aerial duels won, good. 47 tackles, 28 interceptions, and 45 clearances are his defensive stats. Now you might know, because of these stats that I've listed, that what kind of a player he is, and because of that you may now consider him differently than before. Alright, coming to his key performances that highlighted his season. An assist versus Manchester United, in which it also included 3 tackles and 3 chances created. He was named the man of the match. But to be honest, any team in the world can beat Manchester United, even if it is a 4th division English side. 2 assists versus Manchester City in their famous 5-1 victory at the Emirates Stadium. So, yup, Declan Rice was the core, and I think he was the one who assisted both Nwaneri and Miles Kelly. I might be wrong, but nevertheless he played an important part in that victory. And he also created 4 chances, and then most importantly, the match that most people would say is the reason why Declan Rice got nominated for the Ballon d'Or at the first place, is his 2 free kicks versus Real Madrid. And I know that was the match that absolutely dumped Madrid chances into the bin like prime Steph Curry. I don't know much about basketball, but still, we got absolutely cooked by Arsenal in that match. Oh my god, I better not talk about it that much because it haunts me at night. The grey kit, it was so beautiful, but because of that match it has become a joke. Let's not discuss it, but nevertheless those 2 free kicks were absolutely beautiful, and I think that other than that his Champions League performances were not enough to win him a spot in the team of the season of the Champions League. But because of these 2 free kicks he did get a spot, so you can't really argue with that. But coming to his chances, I don't think it's fair that he got nominated in the first place, because if you are including him, you should be including the likes of Valverde, who is, by the way, at least a more deserving nominee than Declan Rice. You might say that I'm biased because I'm a Madrid fan, but I know I've watched his matches. Valverde, he is much better than Declan Rice. And him not getting nominated and Declan Rice getting nominated because of all the hype he got from his 2 free kicks versus Real Madrid is not fair at all. So it's safe to say that he is not winning the Ballon d'Or at all, but on other hand, he might be just sneaking in the top 30, obviously, because he is not even getting into the top 20. There is no absolute chance. If this happens, I am gonna be very angry. Alright, so that was it for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one, and until then, adios. Please consider subscribing and liking as well.